Great to see everybody. Settle on in. Let's get to it. Take a quick look at some of these all-time high markets for today and answer some questions. A couple things I see in the basic chat here. Kind of like it. I like the questions because it shows me what people probably are missing that I need to communicate better. A lot of times people are looking at patterns, but they're not looking at confirmation. And we did our session yesterday, and I'm going to make that available to people in the chat here. Hold on, let me do that. Hold on one second. I'll put that in the chat. Just the chat for the link for you guys to check it out. Kind of an off menu link. Where to put that? Hold on one second. Come on back here. One second. Where'd that go? Yeah, I'll post it a little bit later. Anyway, let's get to it. Come on in, folks. NASDAQ, we're up a couple hundred. I mean, just really not too eventful of a day. We haven't done much this morning. Check it out. We gap up. We go sideways. 50-point range. I really can't do much with that. There's maybe a couple of things here this morning. There was a pattern this morning. That was about it. Some nice kind of 30-second correlations going on. Something we talked about again yesterday, talking strategies of, what are the important points? Like, why did people do patterns? Why are we even looking at this? Because it defines the levels within all the randomness of the markets. And, something I've been really highlighting a lot since we brought it in terms of looking for short-term pivots, potential short-term trades. We're looking at arrow, dot, diamond type stuff that is, is something where you draw your eyes to where the important signals on the chart intraday. And if you just go through, this is something I was saying yesterday to the group there, look for these. Again, the diamond is something we brought on about 2 or 3 months ago, and working really well. I mean, it's get yourself in the ballpark. Obviously, we're looking for patterns with them, but there's one that didn't work out. That's like the first one today on the 30-second time frame did not work out. And we're going to be doing more of that in the next week or two. I said I would probably start doing one of those sessions a month with some live action. If we see something, guys, keep me posted. I've got my monitor, I've got my window open here. So if we see something, I don't have it set up right now, but we'll go to it. All right, that's part of the thing I want to start doing with this year. But nothing, I don't have anything yet. Last pattern I had was this morning, type 2. Back here at 09, went to 24, and then I had to do some things. But, that's also part of the deal is having the patience to wait for the setup, wait for your signal. Let's see if we get another one. I think right now we've made some good progress, but check out the 5-minute pattern just for today, guys. All the way up here at the 913 level, we're sitting in this 5-minute bearish zone. So that's why we haven't made a lot of progress. If you're wondering, is there something up here? Yeah, there was a hop level right at 43. 943. Confirmation came in right before. Looks like a dud so far. Sideways, no real type 1, but still in a pause. Still in a pause. What's going on, chat? Come on in, guys. Hope everyone's doing all right. What's going on? Low. All right, thank you. Let's check. Hold on. Always something. There it is. Let's turn it up. There you go. Thank you. You guys have any problems, keep me true here in the chat. How do you get those symbols on your chart? All of them are in the HSI arrows, Brian. If you've got HPC software, again, go to indicators. It's going to be in the invite only, and then all of those, the arrows and the dot, those are HSI arrows module right there, and add it. That'll give you the dot and the diamond. If you don't have it, DM me, okay? Yeah. And if you don't have the software, well, you know what to do, right? Get over to harmonictrader.com, send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Everything we're doing is off of this TradingView platform. We have the 4 other ones for MetaTrader, eSignal, NinjaTrader, Sierra Chart. You're invited to try all of them. 5-minute time frame, kind of crazy. We haven't had the last 5-minute signal we had was yesterday during the session. I'll get to that. I haven't had a 5-minute RTH signal yet. No dot, nothing, but you know, a couple of consecutive higher HSIs. We're printing in another one. Are we going to bust 26K? You know, everyone's getting a little concerned that we're not moving higher, but just look at the chart, guys. Look at the daily. And we're down here under 26K. I'm not, you know, I don't think this is anything but a matter of maybe another week or two. Okay, we're in this kind of tightened wedge. And I thought we would sell off. I really thought we'd have a full 25K kind of retest beginning of the year, but not right now. At least, you know, this thing is holding up pretty nicely. I say that this is probably going to break to the upside really soon. And when it does, the only thing left here, if you put X, A, B, C, D together, okay, there to there, where's the B point? You could go there. It's like an 886 roughly. Maybe that's 81, but all of this still is in line for a bigger 1618 breakout, guys. That's 27,800, and you're at 25,800, 25,900. So this is the play. This is the maybe to March or even June. But long-term trend is up. I'd love to get something of a, a little bit more of a pullback. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. I mean, we're here sideways, grinding higher since October, or November, really. And then we have a couple of high levels. There's a bullish HSI, a strong diamond here where all of this says this general 25.5 range. All right, 25.5 range is probably the continuation launch pad. Just taking its time. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, IWM breaking out. That's good. Yeah, I think they're all going to go. We talked about the Dow last week, and again, 50,000 is just a number. I expect that to be clipped any day. S&P 500 hovering around 7,000, and again, I think just like the Dow at 50, S&P at 7 is nothing. The target on S&P immediately is still 70,050, 7050, but we project forward the correction, and that was a nice little daily retracement, daily correction all the way down here. Remarkable, down at 6,500. Here you go again. Just doing another 1618 extension. So, and that's more like 72,200, 7250. All right, doesn't seem like much, but guys, we continue this slow grind higher and look for retracement opportunities along the way. A couple of things I've mentioned recently that are definitely working out. Iron Mountain, guys, IRM, now 93, and we were down here at 83 with this type 2 crab pattern. That's just one of many that we've talked about. One that's hitting right now that I would look at, we talked about hymns. And there's a whole bunch of patterns down here. We're still waiting for literally one green day. I would be looking for that secondary confirmation pretty soon. Hymns, this might not trigger until next week, but look at that pattern. All right, we're looking carefully down here. 34, we were looking at this anywhere from 34 to 32 generally. And now we're going to get another dot. I'm thinking this is scooping like 30 bucks, and then we start the resumption. Just a couple of patterns straight off to be looking at. Here's another one. I think this Qubits is just, it's toying with people, including myself, but the shark pattern, we're still just grinding higher. And that's okay, we don't have to blow off immediately, but that's going. And what was the other one? Qubit, Q-U-B-T. That had some patterns. No, that was not the one. It was IONQ. Here you go, doing the return move. Great, yep. So these are still in development, making their way higher. And plenty of opportunities. A couple of the others, like remember Target, I think we have to keep our eye on this one because this might have just been set free on that. All right. Interesting stuff down here. Really interesting stuff. Those are a few patterns. I mean, that's super early development. I don't think you'd get hurt there. A couple more. Well, IWM wanted to look at who was that? Wanted to look at Russell really quick. What's up, Lino? Yeah, there's IWM on the weekly, absolutely skyrocketing through that hop level, 256. Where's the daily? Yeah, see, look at the 4-hour. What's the last confirmation? Dot, diamond, couple arrows. And clearly, I'm just going to keep pounding this, that we want, if you're going to be in anything, you want to be able to draw a trend, and a trend channel like this, and you want to be looking at retracements at the lower end of these channels. I mean, that's to keep it really simple. That's not even harmonic patterns, although they really help. But this is how you get on a train track to higher prices. A couple others, things that are getting close. Was it Dell? On the 4-hour down here. Dell's another one. This is pretty close. I don't know if I brought up this 4-hour last time or not, but we're here at a type 2 shark around 122, currently 121. I mean, these are just a few ideas, and you look at this relative to the daily trend, a big sell-off. We're probably going to put in a dot. We should have a dot there already. But again, looking for retraces of extended uptrends. Dell's probably, I would be watching this right at 120, 122. Looking for that resumption. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep this, I guess I'll keep it really loose today. What's going on, guys? What you guys let me know what you want to look at. After yesterday, everything that we did, I'm a little talked out, I think. So I'm just going to kind of rip through. How about a little Bitcoin action, right? Bitcoin, always good for views. What's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin, say that 10 times. Bitcoin, Bitcoin. We're up here about to put in another dot. So just to, kind of let everybody know we already put in the overbought arrow triangle, and then we're checking back. So there's a check back day. Today's day one of a red candle. We need a second red candle. So look for this in Bitcoin over the weekend, where 97's probably 97, 98. That should be it for now. And then the next day or two, put in a red candle for some consolidation. And remember, Bitcoin on the 4 hour, we've been squeezed between all of these patterns, and then the most recent. If you guys, it's really not that exciting, from what we've been looking at. What are the possibilities? We talked about that pullback down from 94.88, 94.880, perfect type 1 back to target 1. And then we said that's probably it. Go back and retest the zone here. We hit it, and then the confirmation's more like 96, 97. So looking there, perfect confirmation today. And I'll address this thing on the basic chat. They are, so the question is, someone has seen profit using this strategy. Can you provide guidance on what we can do to be more profitable rather than having to pay for software and indicators that might help us? There you go. All right, so let me just kind of address this, because I caught this, and so welcome to the Discord chat, by the way. If you guys want to join the Discord, and so post questions there. But I guarantee you, if you're not with the software, there's reasons why we have the software. But Callan Collop was asking about this. Okay, I don't know what else to prove other than beyond, what we've done with patterns over the course of the last couple of years, the last year in particular, to show its effectiveness. And so what he's saying is, then how can you do it to identify it manually rather than pay for software and indicators that might help you? You can't. I'm going to say this right now. Okay, you're not going to be profitable if you try to do harmonic patterns manually. And so if you're not going to do that, then you shouldn't do it. Simply, if you're not willing to do to be successful and to try to do it by hand, understanding it by hand is one thing, okay, but without the proper identification of structures, and then the element of pattern confirmation, which has been something I've really focused on since 2007. I wrote a whole book on relative strength and harmonic patterns. There's a reason, because the patterns are a framework. But if we want to really be able to pinpoint within these large measured zones, you're going to need some kind of indication, some kind of measurement that dictates overbought, oversold levels on any segment. And so, just to kind of bring it out there, in speaking in really truth to power, that great, it's a pattern. And I said this yesterday in our session. I also said this in many prior trading sessions, many live streams. What we're looking for is pattern completion and then our confirmation trigger. And if you're not willing to understand that, then I would say go pursue something else. Framework is awesome. Pinpointing the framework, knowing, hey, is it going to stop at target 1, or is this going to go all the way to target 2? Or if on the retest, we're going to go right at the 886 because there's T2, or where's the trade? And again, this gets to having great patterns, especially that look really shiny in the past. That's easy to do. Translating to the right of the chart, turning the pattern into a trade opportunity, yeah, that's the work. That's the screen hours, that's the screen work, and it takes some technology to do that. You guys are trading against the best of the best. You're trading against automated bots. You're trading against major hedge funds. You're trading against knuckleheads like me. All right. And you better have a way to measure the market with precision. All right. To really get through this, to make a go. And if you're not willing to do the work, I'm telling you, or invest the money, good luck. Bitcoin right now, there's a 30-second little pattern here, little crab pattern. Where's the execution? Where's the confirmation? I mean, there's a great one. Where's the trade? Where's the execution? All right, because there's T1, there's the arrow. The first time we're even looking at this is right here on that bar. Didn't go I think because a lot of people, what they think should happen is that you should hit the pattern and then it just goes like that, and that's just not the realistic situation. If anything, if I'm looking at this, and the first place that I'm looking for this, I'm just pulling this out of my hat, guys, but I'm just kind of like getting on it. If that's the first place that I look for the trade, okay, tell me, what are we turned around? Right here is HSI above the 50. Do we have the elements we need where the initial move to higher prices, the inflection can unfold? It's the same, again, futures, Bitcoin, whatever. That's why, that's why I really been calling for that retracement on Bitcoin. If we're looking at 5-minute charts, if you're looking at weekly charts, I mean, it all comes down to the readings, the levels. Here, Bitcoin's the first time it's hitting the 50 level on a weekly bar. All right, maybe I start looking at that next week. But again, all comes down to the metrics, the signals. And again, the simple stuff, the things like the dumb buttons I've tried to put in where I've tried to improve without putting too many bells and whistles. But as I've been saying, any market, whatever, if you see an arrow, diamond, dot, that's significant confirmation. You expect a reaction like there and there. Okay, up in here generally. You go back here, it didn't really work out as much, but it's still some pausing reaction behavior, and then you build your argument on top of that. So, more, I think once I get into this further, all right, especially with the live trading, do we have anything right now? Let me see. Go 30-second time frame here really quick. Oh, no, that's 1 second. Let me go to NQ. I'm even looking to buy a new computer so I can live stream and run everything without having an issue. I don't have anything right now. Still down off of that bearish pattern, but if I see something, I'll come back. If anybody sees like any of you guys with the software, you see like I don't know, I don't care, arrow, diamond, dot. We haven't even had any we could be getting this 5-minute. All right, this could be something in about 6 minutes, okay? We have the 5-minute RTH signal. We checked back, one green. We'd need one more green, so it's like 6-7 minutes from now. I'd be looking for a dot, and then we'll see if that's the turnaround for the day. Hold on. Thank you. So, that's why you get the software. And I'm not knocking you. Look, the expectations for harmonic patterns are too high. They're too high. And the other people that have done these in the past, I mean, there's people that have actually popularized it for me. I created it. I don't think I really popularized it, guys. It was a couple of other clowns, quite frankly, who tried to do major things with it that were showing every past prime example as as gospel. And that's not it. Here you go. We've been dealing with this shark pattern for the last 2 months, 6 weeks. All right, where were the trades on this? Hop level 2608, but here's the first one. T1 pattern completes, but that's not where the trade is. Where's the trade? The trade is T1 and a dot. And the diamond helps. And you go to target one. That's our assumption. That's type 1 action. I don't know how much this individual knows about type 1 reaction, type 2, but maybe I should just kind of start some refresher primer that if you're looking at a trade here, all right, and the confirmation was what, 25,900 generally, your max move is 21,400. That's amazing. But you're not looking for a bear market, to develop from there. You're looking, hey, segment to segment reaction. Now, we've been banging against 2608 a couple of times. Really, what was that? Monday. That was the first kind of confirmation, but we're still even, again, this is where we're being able to make the read. Like, hey, if this was a super strong pattern, which it should be because it's type 2, we should be at target 2. I thought that would happen. That's what I was thinking coming into the beginning of the year. We would come down and hit target 2. We still might. We're at 26K. We could still go back to 25K before we bust this whole range. But for right now, immediately, you just respect that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of things I really strive to kind of make clear. Some of them are non-harmonic related that get in the way of finding effective candidates. Like, buying T coins in crypto that continually form bullish patterns that fail because they just keep grinding lower. I don't know. What do you guys have here? Bitcoin, Tesla seem like the same instrument. What's up, Diamond Jim? Tesla. I love Tesla. I think Tesla's going to rule the world here. But at what price? There on the hourly chart, back at 430. That shark it's all right for now. What's the deal with Tesla? We're still at this weekly. Why have we... And this is the other thing I don't get, just kind of like the understanding. And I know there's a learning curve, a trading learning curve. And, got to have some kind of methodology analysis, but you still need to convert that from pattern to trade opportunity. And the easiest thing that I've tried to do is, in terms of the software designation, automatically do it where the algorithms are running it. So that's a universal application of standardized measures that are within literally 3% tolerance ratios at each point, which creates every pattern as a specific creature. And then the confirmation on top of it, all right, brings together the element of the indicator, the relative measure with the price. Looking at Tesla, the first opportunity that this was pretty much done going up was beginning of December. So first week, second week, finally there, 488. We've kind of pausing going down here. But I don't know how that couldn't be clearer. And I've been saying this for weeks. Like, love Tesla. Think Tesla's going to 800. But Scott, if it's going to 800, why wouldn't you buy it right now and just hold it? Because that's not what we do. Strategize it. Now, here we have a daily with another bearish pattern, but look what happened. Okay, there's T1. Sideways, what's going on here? It's consolidating, hasn't continued to go up, but just a small reaction. And now we get oversold. That's really on this pattern. The first confirmation was here. And what did it yield? Like a 10-session little reaction. And literally yesterday and start looking today, We have retested that area at 440. And so watch it. This could easily set this back up in motion, or at least back to the 480 level. All right, again, the weekly probably continues to go sideways until this is worn out. Could go sideways for a while, but the daily just got oversold. So I'd look at the 440 level, and as this thing is continuing to head back up. I mean, look, the software is a tool. Unprecedented. I mean, unprecedented, man. And it's been years. I still tweak it. You know, so the statistical stuff that we'll bring in with Pattern Profiler and whatever is, just further advancement of what this is all about. And it's, a lot of it was really kind of fired back up in my belly 10 years ago when I went through a bunch of stuff. Got sued $3 million for defamation because I called somebody out. I called their Harmonic pattern software a fraud. Sued $3 million. Cost me 80 grand to defend it. Pile of shit. So what did I do? What's the best method of revenge? Success. And that's what the software is for me. Like, long after I'm gone and people are talking harmonic patterns, and they will be, they're going to go back to this damn software. So that's why I promote the software. I make it the centerpiece of everything, because none of us are able to manually do all the measurements required to make this methodology work on our own. You can sit there. I did it for decades, drawing patterns by hands. Well, maybe not decades, maybe a decade or less. So I'm happy to help whomever to really get the most from the program. But you got to follow the signals. You got to stick to the plan. You have to have that basic framework understanding. Okay? And the other thing is that this whole pursuit of trading, folks, takes time. Here's a daily chart, a daily pattern that has been going sideways for relatively speaking, 4 months. That's part of the battle of trading. It's not even your methodology. But I try to be as clear as possible with levels, direction, and character. I think those are the 3 strongest concepts of any price action to know, are we up or down? How strong? Is it reaction, reversal? All right, and what should I expect with it? Tesla, love it. Maybe we start here at 440 for a little bump back to 480, guys. The only thing I would say is at this point we get our signals. All right, tell me, are we in a spot ready to run for Tesla on the daily? Well, HSI is above the 50. That's a good sign. I want to see that turn up. The only thing left for me to really be able to set this free is get amplified back above the 50, just like we did back in November. And look, I'm going to highlight the point. And that's the other thing with the future stuff that I started yesterday and will be doing, and more of the material this year. As I said last time, I'm want to move more towards that active style. I'm a little tired of waxing on about crypto projects that never materialize, like, hey, this might come together and then we're going to get the run, and the run never materializes. I only want to focus on things that are working, moving aggressively, and at those critical points where you're looking for action in the next 2 or 3 days. Perfect example here. Okay, Tesla at the 50 level back November 24, 25, 1, 2. There's the 1, 2 bars. And then that little breakout above the 50, okay, started pretty much what ended up being like a 20 plus bar rally into the end of the year. There are, in my belief system, okay, especially with the patterns, There are critical individual bars. You can distill major trends down to one or one or three, maybe five bars in total that dictate where the next 30 will go. For here, okay, Tesla, after the dot, bang, you have the check back, you start rolling over, you're thinking we're in a 30 bar correction. You either take that down to target or take it to a counter signal. And then it was about 12, 14 bars later, we get an arrow. Almost 20, we get the dot. Yesterday was check back day. Today is day one. Like, if we're going to continue on Tesla, I'd start looking today, tomorrow, Monday. Like, that's how I know this is shifting, folks. Not because I'm saying it or guessing it. It's because that's what the software is telling me. Who wants the software? Get the software, right? Get the software. Just send your trading username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. Try it for free. Everything else is free. And this is also, look, I hear it. I don't I don't want people not being able to get it. I want you to make money off of this. Like, I want what we do here is to reinforce an education where you guys come away with an understanding, a framework of how to interpret market action. Any market, any time frame. If you're looking to invest in your 401k or buy individual stocks or do futures trading, again, being able to read the markets is a skill that is in high demand and only going to be in higher demand the more people will need it. And again, I get calls all the time. Friends of mine that reach out to me, be like, hey, something happened in my family and and now I'm in charge of the family finances. Can you point me in the right direction? And I'd be like, yeah, here, try my software. Look at the markets, look at the trends. So, NASDAQ 876, do we trigger that 30-second? Let me see here. Yeah, here we go. Oh, the 5-minute. Hold on. Did we trigger it? There you go. 5-minute RTH right now. Beautiful. Right there. 5-minute RTH. We talked about this yesterday. There you go. The open bar there is 877. So this was a technique we talked about yesterday of looking for the dot and the trigger. All right. And it literally started about 2 minutes ago that we're here. We're looking there. And then just based on the dot, I wish I had a pattern. No pattern here. I'll look in the 30-second time frame. But if I'm looking for a potential intraday turnaround, right here. Generally 877 to 857, but I expect it to go to like 67, which it almost did first. The low is 69. So I start targeting in here for that turnaround. Let's see if we get that full retest and then go. I like where Amplified's at the 50. HSI is above the 50. Maybe go 877 and go. Yeah, we can look at the others. We can look at, let me bring up a separate screen so we can go back and forth. But if you have questions, guys, get on over to the Discord. All right. Any questions? I'm happy to answer them. I want to do more with what we've done in general. And I think, overall, this channel's kind of grown as the crypto cycle and the craze really took root. But that's changed, okay? And I don't think that's coming back. You're going to always have Bitcoin. You'll always have Ethereum, but the whole discussion of diving into about 12 different or 15 different crypto, I think those days are over. And we can get more into trend continuation stuff, intraday futures trading, QQQ, NASDAQ. Look, there you go. Inside bar right there on the 5-minute at 73. We're turning back up. Go long. 77 was the long on that. But now you're in the right spot. And look, Everything I'm talking about, HSI is above the 50, amplified is above the 50. Okay, this is a critical turning point for the afternoon. Oh, 30-second. Anything here, down here? 30-second, little confirmation. No, I've been lacking some patterns, but yeah, I'd say go, back to '09 minimum, maybe as high as back to 930. That's up, guys. There you go. 91. But perfect 5-minute RTH signal. We talked about that yesterday. And oh, by the way, that recording is on the Discord. So if you guys want to hear that recording, just hit the link and go into the Discord. But we'll do more of those 5-minute RTH signals. Uh, BTC dominance. Yeah, let me go to that. I do want to go. What's up, Greg? Yeah, I want to talk about silver. Greg is mentioning what about precious metals and all, and they've all, because we've been in front of those. Like, somebody wake me up when Nasdaq gets to 909. Silver, guys. What are we gonna do with this? Silver. Okay. Destroyed all of our targets, but what does it prove? 1618 is just absolutely stunning, right? Remarkable. Ever since we had the breakout above the 886, we're saying, okay, there's only one other place for this to go. And so 1618 was on SLV was like 72, 71-ish there. And we can't even build out the 1902 because the 1902 range, 1902, right there, close enough. That's like 82. So the range is between a 1.618 and a 1.902. I won't get into why 1902. It's just a derivation of 1618, but it works as an overlap. Some people use a 2.0. The 1902 has been a really phenomenal number. For me, that's at 82. Currently 84. Yesterday, we were almost 85. Silver was above 90. This is the SLV silver ETF. Where is it going? Are we blowing through this? Because this looks like Bitcoin from prior cycles. This is what Bitcoin should have done at the 1618. Hit it, blast through, and I'll say this. Let's get through this month. And remember, I don't know, man. I'm just, sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself, and then people don't get the message. But I haven't not been saying November, December, January into February we're going to be seasonally bullish time periods for gold and silver and precious for metals in general. But silver, gold, that winter time period, always seasonally bullish. Now, just how high? Are we going to reach the 2618 extension at 110 on SLV? And that would put the silver price at like 120, 125? I think so. It's blown me away how quickly. I mean, you're talking a few months here. The 886 was back in October, and we blast to a 1618. Look, the metals trade is absolutely mind-blowing. I've been in awe of it since really, like, once gold got above 2,800 or 3,000, I mean, like, something's going down. And we posted the same type of extensions there to there, 2618. And ever since the 1618 was all the way down here, and it just blew right through. That was 2,500, and then 2618. That was like the first long shot at 33, 34, and now you're already past what, a 3618. What the hell's going on? There's only one other assumption beyond this. So we've had a few of the where's the all-time chart? Like annual. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I'm good here. Testing. Good. All right. Um, what's left? What is left? The only thing left here, guys, is some kind of exponential projection. Okay, you go down here, and basically the low there was like 230, and almost got to 10x on the really the first one, close to a 10x like exponential run is what I'm getting at from 95 to 2010, 2011. So what would be an exponential 10x move? From 1,000 up to 10K? Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying. There's not going to be anything beyond here to really throw up and project going forward. And so this should be, a situation where month over month, quarter over quarter, this continues to climb green bars. Like I wouldn't even think gold is going to have any significant retrace until there's one bearish candle for the quarter. That's not happening. And silver's the same way, but I think silver on a proportional level has a long way to go. A long way to go. And I think we're looking at silver go to like 110, 115. That's just not a big deal. What it is really, it's all about the asset inflation that is taking hold here. That's just ripping. Ripping. Where's silver? Yeah, I look, before I get into kind of a commit myself to more aggravation that I really want. I've had to, like yesterday's session was something I had to roll out as a primer. So if anybody has questions, I'm like, okay, you got to watch this first. Um, there's silver. That's a quarterly chart, by the way. That's a pretty remarkable quarterly chart. Silver futures, 92.50 at the moment. Come back here. What are things happening right now? I want to get into a couple of ideas that are developing currently. Let's take a quick look at Netflix, guys. Where is it? Daily. Where was the weekly here? No, it wasn't Netflix. One second. Was it? Hi. Was it Spotify? Mm, don't think. No. Hold on. One second. Maybe it was SBI, SMCI, SMCI with the Type 2. Almost. SMCI with a Type 2, but that's still way early. We almost got the 22.27's that's the big event I'm waiting for. Still, yeah, it's still like 25% lower at current prices, but that's a big Type 2. There's another one that I was looking at last night and I forget. Maybe it was Urban. Check out Urban Outfitters, okay? Pretty crazy action, but check out what we have here. Big bat pattern, and this looks like it wants the Type 2. So this is another one. Get on the radar. This is definitely major uptrend. I don't. It was just 80, now 68. Got hit hard, but something's going on here at 61. Can we get that retest? That's what I'm looking for. One or two more things that are. Uh, what's the other? I should be Iron Mountain. Uh, what was it? Oh, Rivian. So Rivian got checked pretty hard yesterday, and now it's coming back into. I think it was a 4 hour here. We've been looking for this pullback on Rivian for a while, and after yesterday, I would start looking for the next set of dots This is our finally getting your first chance. I think first chance since early November coming in on Rivian. I know, we said let's keep an eye on it, keep an eye on it. Well, we're gonna get an opportunity to get in on it. That's coming in pretty hard and fast. I was thinking, maybe that goes to like 12 or lower, but I think what we're gonna do is just get a quick reaction out of that on Rivian. It's oversold still, but now we've done you're 20% off the high. Good start. Now let's set up for the next signal. Yeah. Hold on. Thanks. One second. Yeah, you know what? A couple of those metal stocks, sure. Newmont, NEM, right? Right. Newmont. What about, Alcoa ripped. Look at that. 114. That's the daily. There's the weekly. That's insane. I can't offer. There's nothing I can offer on that. I mean, those have just absolutely gotten away from trying to jump on there. How could you take advantage of something like that? I would say you wait for a 4 hour signal, and you only have had two. You had a possibility to jump on at like 80 down there back on the 20th. Right now, you're overbought. I mean, just deal with it. We're overbought. There's a bearish pattern. Suck it up. That metals trade is mostly played out. We're halfway through January now. We were really starting to look for longs back in November. So up here, Newmont, I can't offer anything, but get ready. I mean, these will continue to go higher. Alcoa is the other one that's just absolutely going ballistic to 64. And this thing just screwed around for a while. Not much here to really get in on just yet. And very cyclical. I mean, go look back. We've only been above this level once in the last 20 years, or twice really in the last 20 years. And you go back to this crash. So, not, I don't have an opportunity in these metals yet. They've just gone way too high. And in terms of silver on that first move, I didn't think we'd get above 80. And here we are at 92. It happens. Things that are kind of coming together well, here's one that had a perfect retest beginning of the year. Again, boring, but look at Caterpillar. All-time new highs, guys. And I was talking about this, and I just, again, this is how it goes. The winners are going to keep winning. And remember, back in November, and then a secondary signal just back in December, 570 here, and that was 550. Now we're 650. That's why we go with these. I mean, this one in Walmart, really boring stuff, okay? But this is what I think, people are missing. Like, look, you need to be going with a trend. We're buying on retracements. Let's get a retracement pattern. Well, that was just another continuation. Oh, the other one was Cummins engine, guys. I mean, look, just 577. This thing's a monster. There are other ones that we'll want to jump on that are like this. Cisco right now comes to mind. Cisco, one of the slower tech winners. But here's another one, guys. Cisco. Dot arrow. We're going to get probably 2 more days. We'll get a second dot. Either way, Cisco around $75 is set up. Just look at it like this. Off the confirmation. This area is different than that because you have an arrow, you have a diamond, it's setting up. And I'm not only looking for a retest to like 79, I'm thinking this continues, 1618 expansion, Cisco to 85, 86. Things that I'm not crazy about, like I've said this before, Coinbase. And even though we have a pattern down here, and I was saying this on Tuesday, that this thing really needed to start going. We need to get above 247, and it's having a trouble. So, this has been kind of a dud. It's got a lot of bullish confirmation here. Now it just has to go. The weekly is a little bit, it's weaker. The daily should at least give you some kind of reaction to 312 by now. So it's a nice pattern with confirmation that's starting to act like a dud. I bring this up because look, we can have a pattern, we can have confirmation, clear target objective, but if you're sitting in the trade and it does nothing, especially 30 days later, 30 bars later, whatever, you tighten your stops. All right, you took your shot. There. Had your chance. There's 30 bars. Now we're almost 40. How much more time? I don't know. I would tighten my stop. I wouldn't want to see this pretty much under 240 yeah, I wouldn't want to see this under 240 again. Took a shot. Great. Didn't work out. Move on. There's better stuff trending. What was the other one? Okay. Caterpillar just crushing it. Bloom Energy is ridiculous, guys. Here's one that's starting to work. I think BBAI. We talked about this last time. Big Bear AI. It's not a monster, but hey, look, you go back the last year or two. Tell me what you see. Tell me what's going on. And then, okay, we've got some confirmation down here. Starting to respond. That was 550, now 640. Come back, continue this uptrend. I don't know. What am I missing? What do you guys have questions on? Like, what's the thing that's I think, causing the most trouble for people in terms of being able to line up opportunities and convert them into trades? I mean, even for you personally, I'd love to hear it because that's pretty much what I'm here for. I mean, again, the patterns and everything was my own research that I started back in the late 90s after following a bunch of people, studying with some people, and then I was able to put some connections together and I had success. I had a lot of success, and a lot of it was because of the dot-com era, too. I was in the right environment. But beyond that, overall, to make it kind of a universal approach, yeah, there was things beyond the patterns I had to bring into the story, into the strategy. Not knowing if the stock's going to go up or to retrace or to continue in the trend. That's a great comment. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. We'll get to those, Doc, in a second. In-depth class on setting up alerts with the software. I totally agree. What's up, Wayne? So we're at a crossroads at the moment with what we can do in two regards. Like, I can't pile any more. Pretty much can't really pile anything else into our singular indicator. All right, with the amount of space and what we've packed into here, we've maxed it out. I'm hoping that changes. The alerts, like let's say we wanted to set an alert for the diamonds, okay? You click alert, you go here on TradingView, all right? But you have to go in and select, all right, what do I want? The price, the combo, the arrows? We want the arrows. And it's limited, okay, in terms of what these parameters that TradingView provide. We're trying to change that. I'm really trying to fix that. Like if we have arrows, okay, we would need a bullish. Where's the diamond on that? Well, let's say bearish dot. So if we had a bearish dot, okay, then the arrow, we want it crossing And what was the other? Oh no, condition is an arrow, and there's we want the bearish arrow, and we want it crossing, and then the value. All right, so we want the value. So this will, when it shows us, sorry, we want the dot. Hold on. Arrows bearish. No, we want a bearish dot. All right, so bearish dot, because after the dot, that's when we know that it's checking back, and then the value that we want to see related to that would be 50. But this isn't going to give us, this is only going to give us one, okay, one signal. What I'm trying to do is put in multiple triggers, so when it signals arrow, dot, and diamond together, that's kind of the multi-layered signal. Hopefully with the pattern profiler, we'll bring that in. That's why we've got the pattern profiler. So I agree on alerts. I agree on maybe a reinforcement. Doc says he does depth of market. Greg, that's a great one. Greg's saying all TA, no matter what, they give you an edge. They don't guarantee success. I agree with that, but I also think there has to be a level of measuring that I've always encountered with technical analysis that bother the hell out of me. You know, I'll just show you this, okay? So back in the day, there were people calling Gartley's Gartley. They call anything a Gartley. They'd say, okay, well, guess what? This is a Gartley. And see, it just worked. Or they would say, oh, yeah, this is a Gartley, you know? And it was just a lot of the, kind of 2020 hindsight of the well-chosen example. But that drove me crazy because I knew that wasn't the case. You know, we had different structures, different metrics and ratios that required different treatment in terms of the of indicators, overbought, oversold. Okay, what we're trying to do there, just determine the zigzag wave nature of the markets, and the markets move in waves here. Yeah, look, okay, that did work. Nobody told me we got to 909. Told you guys. See? Here was our signal. I just went over that about 20 minutes ago. At 877 to go to 909. Okay, basically 40-point reaction. That's what happened there. All right, that's one of the strategies we covered yesterday, guys. I don't want to go too much into it. I'll make that recording is available in the Discord basic chat. So if you want to watch that, join the Discord chat. It's there. And I'll give away a 30-day package right now. HPC 30 gets it if you want it. Greg, don't answer. Although I appreciate the quick response. But that's what we're going to do here. And again, I think more of a directed live action program is the way to do it. There's still some more source material I need to update, like even the how-to on what the dot is. And I to my own fault, I assume people know more than they know more, and I know they need more resource material. We covered a lot yesterday, but doing these sessions here, of pinpointing larger opportunities, market direction, understanding, okay, within harmonic pattern framework, where are we headed? I don't think, I don't think there's anybody that does a better job, really, in terms of reading the markets level to level than what we do with harmonics. A couple other ones. Doc had a whole bunch. Yeah, who wants it? I don't know, Greg. You got it. Can't do that. What mate? What mate? Hey, You win it. I'll give it 360, 360. I don't care. Here, just what, mate? DM me. DM me. I'll set you up. You got to send me your full name, email address, TradingView username. We'll set you up. Let's go to a couple more symbols. What do you guys? And if you want to look at crypto, I don't want to totally shut you down, but there better be trending. Let's look at a couple here. Nick Miller wants to look at Vonage. Wow, that's a throwback from the past, right? Venture Global. Venture Global. I thought that used to be the old Vonage symbol. Vonage. What was that? That was a long distance thing through your cable. Yeah. Venture Global. I don't have anything, my man. This is not a trending. This is a bear trending. This is not a long opportunity. And that's the other thing. We're looking mostly for long side trades here. If the market is in a pullback phase like last year, I'll just say, okay, hey, step back. Let it do its thing. Okay, but why are we mostly, if not always, looking for long opportunities? Because we are in a mega price appreciation, asset appreciation super cycle. That's the other thing, that if you don't understand where we are in the markets, that we are in the middle of a massive super cycle asset appreciation move that started, well, really started 15 years ago. It accelerated with COVID, and then since the 2022 low, it's been ridiculous. But that's where we are. And that's also part of the larger understanding. Like, okay, is it a reaction or a reversal? Is the market up or down? Well, long term, this market is firmly up. When we get that clear, then, hey, let's just wait for a daily oversold signal. Hold on one second. You got to be kidding me. All right, the other one that, what was it? Nick wants to look at Teledoc. And again, here's another one. You just stay away from this. There's no opportunity here. This is not trending. We don't want markets that look like this. We have no hope in markets that look like this, because at best they would have a pop and then a roll back down. This is a dead asset. That's a toxic trend. And I think that's the other thing with what we do here, just to sort out the losers from the winners and focus on winners. That's been a loser. I would say this has been a loser since, geez, since the breakdown at 130, or the breakdown at 100, or the breakdown at 45. I mean, at some point you just say enough. This thing's a piece of garbage. Maybe someday, but no. I mean, that's toast. Sorry. Yeah, Captain Price, I agree. The silver has been unprecedented. I mean, it's unprecedented. I bought some silver bars a few years back, and I was paying like $18 an ounce. Absolutely insane. I wish I bought a stack. I really wish I bought a stack. I was like, it's 18. I'll buy a few. They're really cool to look at. Um, Silver's been better than gold, and it still might be. What's up? Who wants that PLG? I'm keep looking at PLG. I never got a retest. Platinum Group Metals. And, I might miss it. Been waiting for this retest at 188. Never happened. So we squeezed between 243. I think this goes higher. This is where on methodology, okay, I'm going to be stubborn. Can I get the type 2? Give me the type 2. Those are fundamental rules. That's Mark Douglas always said, okay, stay rigid in your framework, flexible in your interpretation, meaning you got rules that guide your market decision. Great. T2 means reversal for me. We're still in a T1. I'll wait for that retest. I think metals are due for a pullback. It's just been so explosive. It's remarkable. I don't know. A buddy of mine is a CFO of a silver company, and I should bring him on for an interview, talk about silver. He's got firsthand knowledge. I mean, amazing. And he joined the company like 18 months ago. It's perfect timing. I don't know if you guys are interested in something like that, or me bringing some people on here as a part of what we do. Let me know. There's a number of characters I could pull out of the woodwork. Couple more. What else, you guys? Oh, you know what? Doc had a whole bunch. A whole bunch. What's going on? Let me catch up here with everybody. Yeah, Echo. Walmart is doing right. All the other guys. Hut. What's up? LG wants to look at Hut. We looked at Hut Tuesday, and Hut did make progress, right? But I like it. I just wake me up on our next daily oversold. Okay. Can't really do with it anything here. I mean, I like to find, stuff like this. All right, you're on a trend. You make your 1618 up, you come back, and you go again. I mean, that's where these are. At least the ones that are working. The other one, LAES, that is that Seals Q, quantum security. I like this chart. I like quantum, guys. I don't sleep on the quantum sector. And this is one of them. This is a low floater, Seals Q. They have very little sales. They are, but look at the chart. Okay? I mean, massive. This thing was a massive runner on the IPO, and then it crashed, right? That's the 886 reset. Okay? Now, I'm going to say something here, because we were looking at Teladoc. All right, and Teladoc was kind of like back here, relatively speaking. Like there was no Teladoc making new lows and stuff like this. This one totally crashed out. Okay, it traded, scraped out. They probably were trying to delist it at 30, 40 cents. Then it goes to $10. Then it comes all the way back down. You might thinking, oh, this is garbage. But really, this is where the fun begins. So you have initial reading, maybe not there, but this secondary reading, and I brought this up last year when I was really pounding quantum stocks on this chart. That secondary reading, and now we're looking like maybe a third set of higher level of confirmation. That's development, guys. So this is a low floater, absolutely. It was decimated, but this is recovery. Really, and it reminds me of Boston Scientific. I'll show you this one. Boston Scientific. Oh, well, look at that. Daily right now. Hop level at 88. I like it now, but what I wanted to show you is, look, these kind of recovery plays that are, get decimated, and do they ever have a hope of recovering? You go back to, here's Boston Scientific, right? Monthly chart came out in the 80s or so, and there's the bottom. Massive move up, full 886 reset again, but look, monthly arrow, diamond, double dot, double dot. All right, there you go. That kind of a thing where if first sets off, that's start to look at, but the secondary confirmation, hey, at least I know something's really happening here. And I knew about this because actually, this way back when I was trying to, this was like 15 years ago. My dad had held this for decades, and I was trying to get him to get rid of it. I mean, I think back down here is like, no, I'm not going to sell it. I just hold on to it, blah, 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 and came all the way back. Pretty amazing. But the recovery, the real recovery, was on the higher level of the continuation on the monthly there. Weekly, I kind of like it. You have some weekly oversold currently, and then the daily for Boston Scientific is pretty nice. So looking at this 88 to 90 level, looking good. There you go. What else? Man, you guys have a lot. SYM, have no clue what that is, but let's just keep it rolling. Symbiotic, I like the trend, right? Now 70. I don't have anything yet. I mean, the last oversold reading was here at 55 back in November. That's the kind of thing you're looking for. Just draw the trend. Look for it to hit the trend, generate oversold, keep it going. What does this look like in a weekly? Super strong. Man, look at that, Gartley. Perfect type 2 Gartley there too. Come back to that. I'll look at that a little lower though. Thanks, William. I appreciate that. William's like, get the software, pay for it. It's worth it. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, BTC is sad compared to the metals. Greg saying he exited Bitcoin, and I'm kind of at best I think we're looking at a sideways year. I agree with that. Yes, get the computer now. There's going to be a massive spike in computer prices, hardware, in the next 6 months to year. TSL, that's the Tesla 2X or 1.5X, right? That's from Wayne. Wayne, yeah, Tesla. We have the same on the daily, and we talked about that. Tesla, it's the 1.25x long. Sure, the daily. I like that. We talked about that. Looking at Tesla on the TSL, that's like around 1850 or so. For Tesla itself, it's 440, 444. I think another day or so more. I mean, Tesla could start that move back to 480 from 440. And this is on a steady uptrend. I mean, this is the 1.25. But look, you want a company that looks like that. You want a chart. Not you just an asset. You want an asset that looks like that. And it's going to keep going higher. Yeah, a few more. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, Doc, you had a whole bunch. Here's Doc's list. I'm just catching up. Like, okay, I'll take 3 of yours, man. GSVR. I have no idea what that is. Oh, okay, Silver Company. 75 cents. Ooh. Ooh. Love penny plays. Gonna have to wait on that. I get what you're saying. This is Toronto Exchange, those Canadian stocks. Sure. Look at that. That's a long-termer chart looking like a massive base breakout. But give me the next overbought on the daily. We'll get one. There's enough resistance for there to have that come back down. But GSVR, keep it on the radar. AGX, I know that one. There you go. Look at that. Oregon. Wow. Wow. I had no idea that thing's that high. Still higher. I had nothing at the moment. But I'll keep looking at these. You bring them up next time. Hopefully we get one of these that gives us something. Daily oversold. Free Gold Ventures Limited. Yeah, I think that's that too. It's only $1.50, but same deal. It's a type 2 pattern. I would expect resistance. If you want to jump on this, well, let the pattern work out. 123. It's a type 1, type 2 situation without confirmation, but at least it will do the price movement. Again, trying to make this work. I think it's I think you got to follow. If you're not making patterns work, if patterns are not working for you, do me a favor. I'm going to throw this out there. I want you to send me 3 charts, your last 3 trades, where you bought, where you sold, and what you were thinking. And I'll respond. Because, something like this and all of them, if we're not following basic framework, you're probably jumping at a point where you shouldn't be jumping on. A couple more. USAR, what's that? US Resources. USAR. What is that? USA Rare Earth. Overbought on the daily. All right. Just because we're up against that prior high, don't assume it's going to break out immediately. But I do like that basing secondary low had pivoted in. What about a 4-hour chart? Give me something to trigger. It's not ready yet, but look at the, oh, beautiful. There you go. So the 4-hour pattern on rare earth, USA rare earth, let's look at 14. It's currently 17. How do I know? Well, look. And this is something else that I think is tough for people to really get into, where let's say we were buying the reaction and we ran into these overbought signals. All right, that's telling you that's it. That's all I have for this move. And they send it back down. I mean, the real confirmation is down here. But even with that confirmation there, okay, you take it dot to dot. And so since I'm only assuming reaction because it's type 1, hey, that's a great move. 12.13 to 17.18. But that's probably it for now. Let it come back down. Takes time, but Taiwan semis up 17 today. Wow. Couple more. ASST. This is the Bitcoin thing, right? Strive. I knew it. Yeah, this was that guy, Jack Mahler's guy. This is him, right? This is like BMNR. Not ready. And if anything, that little last reaction up was just overbought there. Again, if this is the related to the Bitcoin thing, I'm not a fan here. Not a fan at all. I would need to see another signal before I'd even want to think about this. I mean, this could fill the gap at 50 cents pretty easily. Oh, and by the way, all of the founders and stuff, yeah, that's who's selling there and selling there. They're already out. As much as they say they're going to buy all the Bitcoin and whatever, they sold their stock. That's why these didn't work out. I mean, look at Bitminer, BMNR. Wrong one. BMNR, hold on. BMNR is like this. And I think this one goes to like $8 or something. Now 30. Yeah, a little oversold. But I'm not, that's not trending to me. Not the least. Nice, Greg. Greg worked at Cisco. Cisco's a buy forever. You never sell it. Core Weave, where are we at? We got something here. I like everything going. You're 98. I wish this was like a week ago, but there you go. That could be a pretty significant low for now. How many? Three dots. Every one of them checked back perfectly. 76, $70. I like CoreWeave. It's popping today. Hourly, something. Yeah, maybe you get a pullback to 88 and next jump on point. But daily time frame, there you go. I mean, that's got potential to get. Yeah, you're above the 50. That looks better. That's better than Bitminer or the other ones. Oh, what was the other one? It was Metaplanet. Remember we were looking at Metaplanet, MTP. Yeah, Metaplanet. MTPLF was a. Here you go. What's going on here? Remember this? Now this is interesting. Metaplanet. We talked about this, how it needed to check back. I almost forgot about this. Jeez, look at that. Perfect 274. This has got something. All right, perfect example. Where's the pattern? Where's the trade? All right, T1. Just because you have T1 doesn't mean you have a verified reaction trade even. Arrow for the first time. I know we went through. I posted this months ago. All right, bang, bang. There's the dot. Right before Christmas, we check back, little final tax loss selling, and then we start the year off and we're popping. I like that chart. Little late at the moment, okay? You're 387, but I think somewhere around $3. Keep an eye on that one, Metaplanet. That's probably one of the nicer patterns I've seen that actually work. 4-hour chart, yeah, a little overbought. This isn't ready to skyrocket just yet, but that's the definition of development, folks. There you go. You're deep into the zone. You finally get confirmation. All right, there you go. As soon as the yellow dot prints, you start looking. And that was 3-4 weeks ago. There. That's why we do it. That's why we brought the dot in. To nail it to the exact bar. Yeah, I'm just kind of done convincing. I think we're just going to do it. And like I'm just going to start we'll just start doing that and then just be like, go to this page, read this stuff if you want to get in on what we're doing cuz it's just not I feel like I'm missing something. Don't know. Couple more. Yeah, doc, patience is the key. You have to have the patience. You have to have the patience not only to wait for signals, but I think you have to be patient with yourself. Understand that what we're doing here is not just for next week, next month. I mean, what we're learning, market patterns, market framework, this is something you guys are going to take with you the rest of your life. You'll teach your kids this stuff. NASDAQ, where are we? We had the bump off the signal and it rolled right back over. You had the reaction to 40 points and then that was it. It's been a dud day, no doubt. Unlike yesterday, it was great movement. Today's been pretty much a dud. You had the 40-point reaction, rolled over. That was it. Not a heck of a lot. Anything on a 30-second? Yeah. Not really. Where's ES? ES right back at 7,000. Oh, there's a nice crab pattern. But here you go. ES on a 30-second time frame. Let's see. Almost about to set that up for the return trade. Hey, check it out. Type 1, T1 to target $1 sign. Okay, can we get some confirmation up here between 06 and 09 and then start the return lower? That's type 1, type 2 framework, guys, on a 30-second chart. Need a confirmation up here, bearish bar, something to set that in motion, but that's it. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe what I do is like one session on type 1, one session on type 2, another session on type 2 return, and then go more tutorial. I mean, there's lots of charts we can go over, but I think getting a little more focused on strategy, action is the way to go. How about a couple more? EMPD for Mr. Prof. Hey, if that's signals, if we hit 09 in signals, somebody pop it in the chat. EMPD. Empery Digital, never heard of it. And again, guys, I'm gonna dissuade you from. And so I'm not to trash anybody here, okay? But guys, these kind of charts are loser charts. There is zero, these are toxic, zero opportunity charts. If you have it, and it's, a lot of this is, a projection from crypto. But look, all of these charts that if you can just draw that trend line, I mean, just move on quickly. It's not even worth it to put it in the chat. I'm serious. There's nothing there. I mean, no patterns to even speak of. But I'm not even worried about patterns. This is straight down. It's a toxic asset. Avoid the toxic assets. Avoid the garbage, please, at all. Buy junk, not garbage. Elf. Isn't that the beauty? Yeah. Weekly. All right. What's the trend? Correction. All right. The last year has been down. Last few years, I think we can all say this is at least testing long-term support. I kind of like it. And I'll tell you the reason I like it even more so than just the trend. Just be aware of this. And this is a helpful strategy. I forget who asked that they just had a simple issue of understanding if the chart's up or down. One of the easiest ways that I've found, if you can look at the last two signals and they're in succession, meaning here is a low signal, reaction, come back. Here's a secondary signal at a higher level. That stuff matters. That stuff matters. Okay? And I would be looking in this area to take a shot. Simply stated. So look at that, look at trend, look at daily, weekly kind of dynamics here. That daily, all right, I see what you got. It's a deep crab. It's a type 2. Hey, I was liking it on the weekly. Yeah, we're a little late. XA 75. Confirmation down there back in October was 72. You're now 89. But look, get it on the radar. I'm not saying right now at 89, but maybe back at 75 if we get it. This definitely looks like it's starting a longer turnaround. I wish it was trending more aggressively, like a Google or Amazon or whatever. But that's constructive. I can dig into something like that. Keep it on the radar. Bring it back to me next week. Global wants to look at DocuSign, and I'm going to say why. Isn't this like Teledoc? Yeah. Although that did have a recovery, so I don't want to completely some recovery, but yeah, DocuSign. I would look at it like this, okay? It has an opportunity now to put in a real higher low. Like, look, DocuSign came out. It was during COVID, and everybody was going to work in home forever. And no one was going to leave their house, and no one was going to take off their mask. And so that's why this went to 300. And then it crashed. Lost 90% of its value. But that's not the opportunity, okay? Because that's the initial low, secondary low, still not higher. Maybe that's higher. But here in reality, back in March was the first confirmation, but we still don't have like a second higher level confirmation yet. So anything out of there is probably just reaction. We're not even close. I would say just put this on the back radar. Put this on the back burner, get it on the radar, but keep it on the back burner because it's probably going to come lower to generate the next oversold signal again. It's just not ready yet. Not ready. I mean, you had a couple of higher lows, but no confirmation. That matters. I think there's better things. I just go with a Caterpillar or go with a Cummins engine or a Walmart over DocuSign. Couple more, guys. What's up, Vincent? What's EU? EU in terms of stock, or are you talking euro? Encore Energy, EU. I hope that's what you're talking about. Not bad. Again, a low floater. So what can we really expect? Not really super trending, but 260 to 340. But beyond that, it's just a trade. Not sure. Couple others, guys. Oh yeah, RR for Chase, and I forget. I think William wanted that last time we were leaving. Rich Robotics, Rich Tech Robotics. This had the Type 2 almost. So here's another concept stock. I like it. Why? Well, we're trending. Definitely this thing is developing. And I that's not pushing it. Like we go look back the last year or two, what's the direction? It's a nice steady up. This thing is developing. And there's first form of confirmation here at a higher level than the first one. Okay, so secondary here to that first confirmation there. At that point, literally on that point, that chart or any chart, I'd say this has got a possibility to turn up. Higher level of continuation. You had the lowest reading was there. The second reading really was there for a higher level that turned up. Okay, and then yet a third one. This is building. And now a fourth one. I like it. 295 is the ideal spot. You're 397, but you're looking for something like this, not to go to 4 or 5. I mean, this is this is kind of a home run play you're looking at. I mean, you're looking for this to go from 3 to 12, frankly. And I kind of like it off of this secondary retest. Let's start bringing up RR, Rich Tech Robotics. Going forward, I would love to get 295 one more time. That would be the Type 2, and then we go. No need to jump. No need to get FOMO. But if you do have FOMO, just put it on the top of your list. Set an alert, 295. That's the place I'm looking for. Because if we go back in time, all right, what this really is an IPO crazy reset. And now what this over the last year or two is, that's real results happening. This is a company that, got launched on the IPO, founders cash out, okay, whatever they're working on. Now it's starting to work. Now this has got progress, growth potential, RR. Yeah, in RR already. Great. I'll look to get into that. Look, something like that. All you need is 1,000 shares, in my opinion. If this is really going to work, you throw 1,000 shares, even 500 shares. I mean, it's not going to take much. Because if this concept's going to work out, this is going to be like quantum stocks last year. That went from like quantum stocks that were $7, $8, $10 that went to 50. That's really what you're talking about with a stock like that. And I like it. I like this progress. Plenty of development. It's going to take time, but if we can get that one more retest, for me, that would be it. That would be the last one. And then you start to really march up to $5, $6. Thank you for that. I like that. Spotify. What happened there? Oh, remember? Yeah, this was the we had the confirmation and then we had the counter signal. We looked at this back right before Christmas, I remember. Perfect confirmation. We were looking at the T2. And all of that was like 565. What happens? It rallies to over 600, but then you get overbought quickly. That's the death signal. I mean, that's like That's pure poison for any kind of reaction, any kind of move out of a zone. Like if you're looking at a bullish pattern and you get a small strong reaction that generates a counter HSI, the move is just to simply get out. Took a lot of trades to learn that one. But that's what happened there. And so with Spotify or anything on a weekly, we're 500. That signal was 575. Oh, and look at here. Spotify's not, look, ever since, this is why we look at amplified RSI, still in a downtrend, well under the 50 level. Now we're deeply oversold. Again, that's a weekly, going to take weeks to get out of there. I don't know. Couple more. Couple more. We're still in the in-between stage here. I like Qualcomm. Okay, had a nice little pop. I'm waiting on the daily. Daily's getting close here, guys. Qualcomm, another one. Okay, give us stuff that's developing. Qualcomm is getting there. I would look for this. We've been really kind of banging around this bat pattern, and we're in a type 2. We're currently at 160. I'm thinking we get a flush, and we're going to get a dot down here, 150 or maybe even 140. But after we get through this, I'm looking for Qualcomm to turn back around. I like that. Not quite there yet, but getting close. And what was the other one? Oh, I don't know. Brain's kind of fried. Solar Edge. Love the solar, guys. This solar is another one where, yeah, Solar Edge. Look, daily continuation at 30, now 34. Solar Edge is going higher. Solar Edge just completed a major low, continuation low. That and then I told you all along, the way to play solar, the ETF, the TAN ETF, now 52, solar ETF going to 67, 68. You want to trade, fat finger long it right now. And then call me at 68 when you cash out for 16 points. You want to trade, hit that. Go ahead. Even if it goes down 20%, I'm not going to flinch. Couple others. What about ASTS for Dan? What's up, Dan? How you doing? That's it, ASTS. Oh my God. AST Space Mobile. And that does go higher. Jesus Christmas. 259 was the low in 2024. Now 103. Good old 50X. But you don't know that. So what about the other ones? Rocket Lab. All-time new highs. It's at 91. GSAT, guys. Global Star. This is going to break out. I think if the rest of them are going to go, can we get this to react off the crab pattern? Global Star. Yeah, this is another one of these in that category. And I would look for, can we get the type 1 down? And now that we have the crab pattern, let's let the reaction happen. And then it's kind of like what we've seen in the rest of them. ASTS, Rocket Lab. I mean, those are awesome. Will Boeing ever go over 300? Yeah, why not? Where are you gonna go? I mean, Boeing. Look at that. That's recovery. I think Boeing's ready to do a whole new super cycle up. Definitely. Check it out. If you're looking for opportunities, guys, again, you see a massive downtrend. Okay, yeah, that might be enticing, because you think it went down so much. The real play is looking for initial confirmation, then secondary, and that took 2 years. That would be the first place to look. There's a second place to look, and that was last year. That was 2 years ago. Boeing goes up. You're looking like 260 or more, but I'm thinking this is already broken out. I'm thinking full 886. I wouldn't think 300. I'm thinking 400. Look, Boeing's done the work. Now let's get going again. The knuckleheads that were running that company almost destroyed it. Despite the trillions of dollars the United States has given them over the decades. That goes higher, kids. In terms of recovery play, I like it. The rest of it, unless it's pretty obvious, I think we're just hold off on it. I don't, beyond that, I'll circle back really quick. There was somebody wanted to look at the others index a while ago, and they wanted to look at Bitcoin dominance. Here's crypto. This is your crypto chart. Like if you want crypto to move, this others chart better move. And it's probably a good spot to kind of close out on. What's the others weekly setup right now? And this has taken 2 years or more. We're in a type 2. What needs to happen? We did have confirmation. That was at the end of the year. But we still need to retest. Form a dot. And all of that is still lower, guys. So for crypto in general, sideways to down, no matter what Bitcoin does, it's still sideways to down. Think of it this way. The money flow into crypto as an asset has been sideways to down really for the past 2 years, if you want to be truthful about it. Forget this all-time high. I mean, that initial peak back in March 24, that's the real pivot point. And we have not been able to get above there. And now we're back down. I would need to see another trigger on the others index. And the monthly chart, not ready. I mean, again, confirmation there, confirmation there. Do we see any confirmation down here yet? No. So it's just not ready. It is not ready, guys. And again, I wish it was, and for all the crypto people. And I know a lot of people have come to harmonic patterns through crypto and then have been tremendously frustrated over the last 18 months. If you want to survive, you're going to have to find assets that are working. And just say, okay, when crypto signals, I'll be ready to go. And I'll be the first one to say, guys, hey, we got great signals on crypto. It's finally bottomed out. We've got confirmation. Now we're going to look for that development. We are still in a downtrend. And it doesn't matter where Bitcoin dominance is. Bitcoin dominance could be at 99. It doesn't matter. Maybe it should be. Whether it goes up or down, Bitcoin dominance, I don't think it's relative to looking for, a flat off move with like the others index. I just think there's so many better places. Again, I come back to the boring Caterpillar, Walmart, things that continue to grow 20% plus a year and they don't retrace. And that's the lesson learned. You got it. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate that. Again, I want to make it fun. I want to make what we do here more fun. Hey, Carney, help me check CHF JPY. Sure, Global. Or no, sure, Mr. Star. CHF JPY. Why not? So I'm open to suggestions. Look at that, Swiss franc. Well, because of gold. Gold against the yen. That's a gold. That's a gold country versus a paper country. That's like gold in a big 314, 3618 advance. Just keeps going higher. Look, gold, it's like this. For that, just run the scale of ratios. 1618 was there. Blast the 1902, then you're looking 2618. And that's like that's 216. Ah, that's not right. That's right. So it's more like what, 210 here? 2618. Yeah, almost there. 200. Start looking at 200 there. You're in a harmonic extreme expansion, no doubt. But no confirmation. That's the other part of it. The extreme levels. 2618 to 3618. Fill that zone. Show me the first confirmation basically from here to here. That's the crazier, wider zone, but you follow that up until we get confirmation. Not there yet. I mean, what's that against the dollar? I haven't looked at currencies in so long. Swiss franc, US dollar monthly. Okay. Couple of monthly signals. Nice little weekly crab pattern up there. So you're stalling out. So, maybe a little retrace here against the dollar. That's a better pair, frankly, because you've got confirmation across the board. Maybe the dollars do. I don't know. I'm more focused just flat out like gold, silver, metals. We didn't even look at like platinum, palladium, other metals. I think silver's just been phenomenal, and gold, and they continue to go higher, but they're definitely overextended at this point. Go with the stuff that I've been mentioning, things that have set up, guys. Things that I've showed you, like Iron Mountain. Again, I started with that one today, and again, we were on that at yeah, where was that? That was 83. Okay, now 93. And a nice trending, higher level confirmation. And I think we should probably nail down like 10 pattern plays that are really setting up. Like this one, and hymns is probably one of the best so far. You want to talk about a pattern that the only thing left for this to do is finish the inflection? Hymns is there. And so let's bring up more of these that are right freaking there as opportunities. And then let's help you guys translate patterns into successful trades. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time. Yeah. Dean, you're the last one. I have no idea what ASPI, is it a good trade? Well, I would turn that back and say, okay, what is a good trade? It's a completed pattern with confirmation. What do you have here? You have, just read it to yourself. It's a weekly bearish type 2. I mean, that was amazing. And you have some confirmation down here, but nothing, no bullish pattern. What about the 4-hour chart? Nothing there. I've got nothing on that. So I would just, put that to the side and say, just wait. There's the weekly. Okay, again, nice to look at daily, weekly time frames. This is certainly in an uptrend. ASP isotopes. I don't know what they do, but sounds high tech. The things I note, okay, initial confirmation, secondary high, tertiary. It's moving in the right direction. Now, is it 575 or is it 755? Because that's my only decision from this point forward. I'd say like this. Bring it down, and then let's get a retest on the daily. I like it. I like what's happening on the weekly. I wish I had something like a bat pattern or something. I don't have anything just yet, but I'm always open to new ideas. Always. and this is a new idea for me. I do like a lot of things that are happening, but it's more around 670 or $6 even, not 750. But I like charts like that. They're clearly trending. Guys, this is a winner. All right. Exactly where to get in on it, something we'll focus in on next week or two. But the fact that we are successively higher confirmation over and over again means this is setting up for that next wave to get back to not just 11, but 13 or higher. That's a double. I like that. That's a great one. Yeah. Okay. All right, toast, because I did mention that. Last one, toast, and y'all can get out of here. TOST, toast. Remember this with the bat pattern? Waiting for a dot that never came. I'm still waiting for it. But I think we're very close. We had confirmation down here. I think last time I was waiting for, give me a dot off of that. What happened? A dud. And you go counter HSI. Uh-oh, problem. Way to read it. Go back down in and generate another overbought signal. Or sorry, oversold. And so today, did we check that back? 33.80, 33.86. So that's probably next week. We get a dot and it stays around 34. 34.60 is the number. The confirmation's more like 32. Okay, this would then set up that higher level confirmation where, okay, we're done screwing around, retracement's over. I'm thinking 31, 32 area, and this would be next week. And the move is to go back to T140. That's framework, guys. You want to line up an opportunity and get it right. All right, you're still early, so don't jump. Look at this next week. And we might get a dot next week, and by like Wednesday next week would be the perfect entry. But this is one I mentioned. It just never triggered confirmation yet. But we'll get it. It's very close. That's good stuff. All right. Well, guys, hit me up over in the Discord, okay? I appreciate it. Listen, get the recording, get over in the Discord. And you can watch the recording there. I'll have some more resources on the software. And then again, you know where to go. Go to harmonictrader.com, okay? It all starts there. I think I'm done. Some weeks I probably do too many sessions and I get quickly burned out. But happy to do it. So get over there, harmonictrader.com, guys. And then send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Contact me with any other questions. Until then, have a great weekend, guys. Go Canes. Let's go. And we'll see who the national champion is Monday night. Until then, have a great one. Go get them. We'll see you Tuesday, 12:30. Peace out.